Call this meeting of the Siloam Springs Planning Commission to order. Roll call, please.
Song. Montgomery.
Here.
Sally.
Here.
McKinney.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Renard.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Please join me in Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You've all received minutes of our April the 12th regular meeting. Is any changes to be noted? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of April 12th. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. First item on tonight's agenda is a final plat development permit, FP 2204. Mr. Rhodes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commission. Ben Rhodes, Senior Planner. Before you, what you're looking at is a final plat to finalize Phase 1 of the Somerset Edition. This is creating 75 new single-family lots for that subdivision. And this is at the 3000 block of East Kenwood Street. And here, what I've done is divided the site plan into two parts because it's a fairly long, deep property. So what you're looking at is the southern end of it. So we have Kenwood along here with the entrances coming in here and as well as here. And then this part here is off property. So all the lots being created, as you can see, shown in there, being built. The southern half identical to the approved preliminary plat with the exception of renumbering I believe one of the lots. The northern part has changed, and you'll see that in a second, specifically what's changed. But you see that this goes up all the way to the end, and then the street's just cut off. You might recall that we did another preliminary plat for Phase 2. So this is Phase 1. Phase 2 has its approved preliminary plat, and that's going to be what comes in this spot up there to essentially finish out the subdivision. As far as what's changed, originally what was approved in 2019 had hammerhead ends to these streets, and then the detention was at the far north where I'm circling. Now the detention is over to the far northeast corner, and the hammerhead ends have been cut off. And the reason being is because with the new phase already approved as a preliminary plat, it doesn't make sense for them to build a hammerhead and then, 3 months later have to tear it out because they're putting a new street in. So it's fluid project, but we checked fire marshal and he was okay with this arrangement because it's strictly temporary as they're constructing that next phase, which is underway currently. Here you see the site plan, or excuse me, the site view, rather, looking to the north. Kenwood in the foreground, and then you have Highway 412 in the background. Lowe's, if you can look really carefully, is right there. So there are 4 conditions, and I'll cover those over real quickly with you. Because the subdivision isn't 100% finished, the developer is allowed to post a performance bond for the remaining work that's required in the subdivision. So the condition would be that that bond would be delivered to the city by May 27th. If the applicant can finish enough work to complete the subdivision before then they could get a final inspection, and then that would render this condition moot. But we don't know really how far along they're going to get. So as of now, we're recommending the condition on the performance bond prior to May 27th, and that will allow it to be checked and make sure that they're meeting everything correctly for review by the board of directors. The second and third conditions are final, or excuse me, are standard for filing a plat. They're just regarding the maintenance bond and also the recording of the plat within 45 days. And then the final condition is a carryover from the approved preliminary plat. The condition states that there needs to be a deed restriction placed on lots 75 and 60 to prevent vehicular access directly to Kenwood Street, as this would cause some traffic issues along Kenwood if we had too many driveways coming out right there. So that deed restriction can't be filed until the plat is already official and of a record. So we would hold up building permit issuance until those deed restrictions are presented to the city and shown. And so with that, we are recommending approval with those 4 conditions, and we stand ready for any of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address this final plat? Gentlemen, please give us your name, your address, and your questions. You all have 3 minutes.
Just letting y'all know, I'm Clayton Krotz. I work for Halff. We also represent the Plat. Just wanted to introduce myself. Don't have any questions. Just wanted to let y'all know that I was here. So.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes, in the audience that wishes to address that? Seeing none, commissioners, do you have any questions for Ben?
Ben, you're talking about the 2 restricted lots of the access to Kenwood. 57, 58, and 59, are all those going to have individual drives to Kenwood?
Yes, they actually have to, because there's no other way for them to have access. But if you look very carefully, it's really hard to see, but there's a shared driveway right where I'm circling in red. So that driveway access will be for this lot, and then for this lot, because it's an odd number, then there has to be a second driveway for the final lot there. So we're doing everything we can to limit the number of driveways on Kenwood.
I had a question, and it isn't something we can do anything about, but something to consider. I just want to say that, you know, as we continue to add the traffic count, and I read what you said about traffic count, that is flowing into 412 in an area that is so congested. There is a light at Kenwood, but it is very congested all along 412, and I know that's up to the State Highway Department to do something about that. But it is concerning if they don't have other ways to get out. So going out further on Timothy, it's going to come out further out on 412, right? And so that'll alleviate a little bit of it.
Right. I mean, there are multiple ways to get out of the subdivision. Of course, you have the 2 entrances here, but someone can, if they're eastbound, could go on Kenwood up Bruce Rutherford and get out on Gum Springs as well. Yeah. So it doesn't all have to go right to that one intersection. So,
because if I have to go out there, I just have to go. I can't turn left. I just have to go right and get back left somewhere else now. But thank you.
Yes.
Are there any other questions?
Hey, is there a future plan for widening Kenwood Street?
We have a grant to make improvements to Kenwood. Is it widening to 3-lane? Justin, you want to come up and say? Yeah.
Justin Bland, city engineer. Yeah, we do have a grant through RDOT to help improve that street. And it's kind of a really structured procedure, but we're actually selecting consultants right now to do the design work. And then the next phase would be doing utility relocates and right-of-way acquisition, and then we would go to construction. So we're still, you know, I'd say at least 3 to 4 years out, probably realistically, from going to construction on that. But it would cover 80% of the cost, which would be good. But the idea would be to widen that out to, you know, at least 30 feet. Maybe we would have 3 lanes at some of the key intersections. It's kind of a narrow corridor in some certain spots there, so we'll have to kind of get into design and see what that looks like. But you know, obviously, if we could get 3 lanes all the way through there, that'd be the best case scenario. But I don't know that we can squeeze that in there in a couple spots. So.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr.
Still
Chairman,
entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve final plat development permit FP 2204 with conditions as stated.
Do I have a second for that motion?
Second.
2 seconds.
Take your choice.
I'll pick Chris. He raised his hand.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for the approval of FP 22-04 with the conditions as stated by staff. Roll call, please.
Montgomery,
Yes.
Sally,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Renard,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Okay, that is approved. It will go to the board on June the 7th. Next item on the agenda is special use permit SU 2203. Mr. Rhodes.
Yes, thank you again, Mr. Chairman and Commission. So we're moving into special use permits. So this one is for a short-term rental. And as you see from the slide there, I did update the staff report with the correct address. Well, it was 415 Maxwell, but it's 415A South Maxwell. Just sort of make sure that that distinction's made there. But that is to allow for a two-family residence to be used as a short-term rental. Again, that would be just for one of the units. It won't be for both units. So we have here what Mr. Christians is requesting in his letter. This was included in your packet as well. But essentially, it's a great location for area attractions, particularly in the downtown, restaurants, coffee shops, and the amphitheater, right across the street. So it would be a kind of an ideal spot for someone, for a visitor to be staying while in our community. And here you see the property. It's considered legal non-conforming or grandfathered in, so the zoning is R2, but there's an existing duplex there, so it essentially is grandfathered in. And that is it. We don't have, we're recommending approval, and we do not have any special conditions or anything on this one, so thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Is there anyone from the audience who would like to address this special use permit? Okay, thank you. Commissioners, do you have any comments or questions of Ben Rhodes?
My only question, Ben, they mentioned their parents stay there during the winter. Does that, that's more than 30 days, obviously, for that side. Does that impact the long-term usage for a short-term rental?
That's a good question. How we look at it is if there is a period of inactivity where it hasn't been used as a short-term rental for, I believe, 6 consecutive months, then it essentially goes away as a considered approved use of the property. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Good info.
Okay, are there any other questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion to approve SU 22-03.
I have a motion to approve SU 22-03. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve special use development permit SU 2203. Roll call, please.
McKinney,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Renard,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Montgomery, Sally,
Yes.
Motion is approved. This will go before the Board of Directors on June the 7th. Next item on the agenda is special use development permit SU 22-04. Mr. Rhodes, you're up again.
Yes, thank you again, Mr. Chairman and Board. Another short-term rental, special use permit. We're going, as the crow flies, maybe about 3 blocks to the west, roughly. But this is at the corner of South College and Alpine. It is a single-family dwelling in R2 zone. And here we have the request from the landowner. They're gearing this more towards the John Brown market for guests or parents that are staying for just special events or whatever, to be able to have a place to stay. And the letter did include some photos of the property. This is the front as you look at it, and then of course the side along Alpine, I believe, is that other side there. And that is also the side where the parking, there's a garage on the side loading garage with the unit. So with that, we did receive, in addition to the questions from the neighbors, there was another call from another neighbor just wondering what was going on. We let them know what it was, and I don't think they had any other further questions. And so with that, we are available for any other questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address this special use development permit? Okay, seeing none, commissioners, do you have questions of Ben?
Ben, how many short-term rentals do we have, or permits for short-term rentals right now? Do you know?
I don't have an actual figure for that, but I'm guessing around 25 to 30, roughly. Yeah. There are also others that haven't gone through the commission because they're in a different zoning. So there would be a few more than just the ones that you guys have looked at. Yeah.
Ben, is there anywhere in the city, within the city, that has a list of those?
Well, if you go to the websites, Airbnb or VRBO, they'll give you all the listing of the short-term rentals.
On social media and stuff, but the city does not.
We have a list of the special use permits that we've issued. If someone wants to see, what we've issued, Wade can provide that to anyone. Yeah.
Thank you. Are there any other questions of the commissioners? Being no other questions, I will entertain a motion.
Chairman, I make a motion to approve special use development permit SU 2204.
I have a motion to approve SU 22-04. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve SU 2204. Roll call, please.
Smith,
Yes.
Renard,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Montgomery, Sally,
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes.
Motion is approved. This will go before the Board of Directors on June the 7th. The remainder of our agenda is the City Comprehension Plan, which you got copies of, and the staff-approved permits. Does anyone have any questions of Ben on the staff-approved permits? Hearing no questions on the staff-approved permits, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Meeting is adjourned.